Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
For us, 2022 as agents across the board, we're going to have the courage to fight. What do you think that means? Have the courage to fight. The one thing I have here in my notes is that in 2022 you got to learn to fight. 2022 you got to learn to fight. That's going to mean fighting yourself, fighting your habits, fighting your clients, fighting other agents, fighting multiple offers, fighting everything. And I'm going to tell you right now, 2022 is going to be the year you got to fight harder than ever. It is what it is. So it's one of those things where you can embrace it and use that to win the game, or I can take that same concept or word and use that really to hide. And if I don't embrace it, I'm going to tell you this year, it's going to make a big difference in your business. It's more competitive than ever. It's harder than ever. But the good news is, it's a hell of a lot better than the market not being hot on fire. I was in 2008, nobody wanted to buy anything. Very difficult market, a whole lot different. Right? This is very good if you can do what? Sharpen the skill set to make sure you're able to win. So once you guys have that this year, right, the games we got having the courage enough to stay in the fight over and over and over and over again. When what happens, Baron? What happens? What happened yesterday you're talking about?
Just getting frustrated with offers, agents and stories and buyers.
Offers not getting accepted, agents doing certain things, agents requiring certain things. So I just want to have you guys consider that this year, 2022, is about having the courage to fight over and over and over and over and over again. Meanwhile, I'm facing headwinds, issues, challenges, people, crooked agents, whatever it is. I got to make sure that I can have that fight. So part of one of the biggest things I look at is this word here. I want you guys to talk about and look at is endurance. Endurance. What do you think that means? Yeah, we talked about it last week, one of our things, right? This is a marathon, not a sprint. But I'm going to tell you one of the biggest things in 2022 is having the endurance. I know this happens all the time with agents. What do? Start off strong, fall off. Start off strong, fall off. Get momentum, get a couple deals, fall off. Right? And it's constantly over and over and over. And let's have you consider that this year is going to be harder than ever because why? You have more headwinds, more competition. Right? Less houses. The second piece they want to teach on is offers, because anybody know how many listings there are in single family in Horry County? Yeah, I think it's about 414. So 414, we have 65,000 or 70,000 buyers just in our database. Right? You got to think every agent, every company are fighting for these single families here. And so the key here is the endurance piece. Right? What that means is constantly staying in the fire here with intensity. Constantly staying in the fire here with intensity. And so when things get tough, when I have offers that fall through that don't get accepted, or I have to show property for 2 days and write 3 offers, what do I got to do?
Just keep going. Like, don't take the foot off the gas, don't fall off the horse or whatever. Keep going. Yeah.
Number one, do I have the courage to stand up and fight consistently every day? I want you guys to consider this here is a daily decision. Daily decision. What does that mean?
It's a conscious choice.
You're not going to just default into endurance.
Yes. Right? I can't default to endurance. That's a good one. I can't default to endurance. Now, the problem is that's only number one. Part number 2 here is I have to have the courage to level up my skill sets inside the fight. Say it again. Part number 2 is I have to have the courage to level up my skill sets inside the fight here during the whole thing. What do you think that means there, overall?
I think it's because we have a tendency to want to play to our strengths, and then we'll kind of tell this narrative of, well, I did this part well, so that excuses me from doing the other part well. But the reality is we got to kind of be firing on all cylinders. So just from an honesty point.
Yeah, I mean, what were you talking about with me is, it's the courage to have those conversations with, the buyers, and, what was previously the last few months, last few years considered unreasonable is the new norm, in the market. So having those tough, conversations with the clients so they're not, let down or disappointed when things don't work out their way.
100%. It's more difficult than ever, right? So here's the problem. Most agents, most people don't have the ability to fight and stay in the fight, right? They don't have the ability to stick with endurance, meaning that they're going good, like right now, after the first year, right? Everyone is all pumped up. Going to be great, 2022, things are great, and that all works well and good until what? Shit's a fan, right? Deals go sideways, things go sideways, you get screwed over, your deals fall apart, whatever it is. And so what's happened is the masses, they're doing great until some shit happens. That's the masses, right? And there's a group that fights through the first part, but what most of them tend to do is they just stick in this piece here and don't actually focus on the expansion piece, which is what? How do I get better at fighting this fight? A lot of people tend to just be victims in that world and just get beat up on over and over and over before figuring out, hey, look, there might be a better way so I can be better at what I'm doing here to get what I want. And it's very, very important to look at that and understand that I've got to make sure I'm also have this piece here focused on expansion. What would that look like? What does that mean right there?
There's small things when people aren't looking, like maybe working on your fire presentation by yourself, things you say before yourself, in a room by yourself, or doing training when nobody's looking because you're not really good at influence and you want to get better on influencing people at problems.
Yes.
Or maybe sitting there writing down third and secondary questions to use them in the discovery phase.
Yes, that was exactly what I was looking for. This is one of our secret killers here in terms of what people do is they come in and they'll get pumped up for this year, set their goals, do certain things. They'll only make minor improvements over the next 12 months. Minor improvements, minor changes, but at the end of the year, right, they can't step back and say, wow, what the fuck just happened to my year in a good way. Being that business doubled, business blew up, they just adjust a little bit and went right back to the same old pattern, the same old habits they were at before. And so I want you guys to think about that today and hey, look, where do I got to get better at my endurance? Where do I get better at my expansion? How can I do both? And that goes back to what Ryan talked about, is I have to be obsessed with getting better during the fight. Is that difficult? Yeah, what does that mean? That means that when I have things going on, I'm going home at night and studying. Right? I'm making money during money time. If I got some CCR videos, I watch that shit at night. Why is that? Because money time's the daytime. Right? If I want to do Jordan Belfort or read books or things like that, that happens at night because I have to be able to have the endurance in the daytime to keep up my business and stay in the fight no matter what, and I have to have the ability to expand during that. Unfortunately, that's just reality of business, reality of pretty much any business right now. Rising costs, rising everything, right? In every single area. It's important for us to make sure we have that. Now, what's the important thing about endurance? What's another way about endurance and how do I grow endurance? And this is important in how this really relates to our 90-day challenges.
You gamify it.
Gamify it.
Break it down into little sections.
Yeah.
Reps.
Small sections, small goals, small wins.
Equal big results.
Well, if you get the small wins, that's a self-accomplishment, like waking up. That's a win for me, like early in the morning and working out. That's another win.
Yes.
I get stack those wins and then I can get the big wins.
The question is, do I have the power to endure? Do I have the power to endure? Right? It comes down a lot of times people talk about this in sports. Right? There's a big difference between some sports and like long-term races like marathons or Spartan races or things like that. There becomes a place when I'm enduring. Right? I guess you guys got a lot of Marines and training, basic training stuff. I guess Vince in that scenario. But when I get to races, in the 10-mile Spartan race, right, you get to this place where you just find this pocket of pain. Meaning that the pain's there, the issue's there, the problems are there, but what do I got to do? Continue on, continue on, continue on. And so I want you guys to understand in 2022, part of your endurance is going to be when I get to that pocket of pain, what do I do? Do I stop moving forward or do I sit in the pain and sit in that pocket and find a way to turn that pain here into power? How's that happen? Number one, I got to be willing to sit in that pocket of pain. Number two, I got to be willing to turn that pain into power. What do you think that means?
Using the pain to motivate you.
Okay. Yep. First starts with what? Embracing it. Which could be what? Hey. This shit's going sideways. Deal's falling apart. People aren't accepting offers. But I know that I can get through this. I just got to be able to sit with this and figure out what the fuck I need to do to get through it. Right? And it comes with how do I pre-frame my mindset to understand and have this endurance mindset in what I do. That's what we call on the field. Right? As the issues are happening, that's on the field. But on the flip side, what's the fastest way for me to be able to increase my endurance?
Reps.
And I wrote down my notes that 2022, you're going to find the power of physical endurance and increase your physical weapons that help you find that. What do you think that means? I wrote down you're going to find some ways to weaponize your body to find endurance. If you want to talk about working out, certain things, the fastest way to find endurance, right, in your soul is through your flesh. What do you think that means? Fastest way to find endurance in your soul is through your flesh. What do you think that means?
Working out.
You got to find a way to push yourself. But people just roll out of bed all the time and don't really find a way to push themselves physically, push themselves mentally. And anything they do, you better believe when it comes down to game time and business, those are the ones that fold the fastest. And so I ask myself, in 2022, what am I doing to get myself outside of here physically to be able to increase my endurance? That's why doing things like the 90-day challenge matter. The race matters. Right? Going to the gym in the morning matter. Sometimes the ice out in the morning, Brandon, you probably want to quit, right? During the workout, me all the time. But you build that muscle in your mind to keep pushing through no matter what. That's a part of endurance. That's what builds that piece of us that keeps coming back over and over and over again. The same thing I shared in that video this morning. Anybody watch the video this morning? Awesome. Right? The reality is he talks about, it's not about doing a push-up every day. It's about building up the trust in your mind that you know you can follow through with the commitment you made. And so I want you guys to have this thought today is about where am I at my endurance and where do I need to increase endurance in my business, in my life? Where do I need to increase endurance in my business, in my life overall? Super important piece there. Second piece is where I need to increase my expansion. Right? Where do I increase my expansion in terms of what I'm doing? Because this is the part where I'm able to look at and understand what are my leading indicators, right? My leading indicators, am I standing in the plane? Am I standing in the issues when it happen? Right? If my deals go sideways, I just go home and hide. Or do I stay in the fire and get shit done? Stay here to push through it so I can know, like, keep the momentum going that I've had in 2021 into 2022. Right? The hardest thing for any organization is to keep momentum going. Right? A great year 2021. Right? We got to make sure we focus on these type of things here. It's not going to be a technical issue for us. It's not going to be a technical issue for you. Right? Come to last year, you have new goals. You're going to have to find the way to find the next level of you. And the second part is, am I willing to expand myself, find a way expansion while I'm also enduring the pain? This is something too that I kind of had the same thing here. It's got to be deliberate. What do you think that means? It's got to be deliberate.
Just like you can't default to endurance, you can't default to what you're expanding. I mean, you have to actively choose what you're bad at and choose to actively grow it.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at. So I want you guys to understand that there is a way around this. There is a way for you to do both. And my only point biggest today is to have you guys just open up and say, look, all right, what am I committed to this year? What am I committed expansion-wise? And what happens to me when I get hit in the face with all kinds of problems and shit? Because in watching the inventory drop down like crazy, as sales go back up, it's already starting for everyone. Right? The difficulty's already starting. You guys are having it in some areas. Right? You hear rumbles of it. And so you got to get very, very good at this. And so the key here, right, for us is this is going to have to be something that's chosen daily. What would that look like? Calendar, what do you mean by that?
Blocking it out, like having a training time or maybe taking you know, if you want to do role plays, whatever else you want to do. Blocking it in your calendar, put it together.
Yes.
That's normally what I do, but I mean...
It must come from design and deliberate daily. It must come from design, be deliberate daily. So that would be things like maybe watching a video in the morning. Right? Why is it important to do it first? Why do you think it's important to do it first, Jeremy?
He's in the right mindset.
Yes, I have to make sure that I'm getting myself the right mindset and preparing myself for war that day. Every day, every day, every day, consistently. Because I cannot be a victim of external circumstances. I have to control my internal circumstances all the time. I control my external through how I handle myself internally. That makes sense to you guys, right? But it's got to be a daily decision that has to be designed and deliberate every single day. It's also something like Core 4. Working out, whatever it is. Just have you guys consider this is going to be one of the key factors here for 2022. To have the endurance, to have the ability to expand myself during that, where the masses will just sit there and try to learn on the job. These people get better so they can really maneuver faster and better than everyone else. Super, super important. Right? Now, on the flip side, what happens in that is we're going to have this. I guess I'll move this daily part down here so you guys can see. What happens here in the business, though, is what? We have these things called peaks. We have these things called what?
Valleys.
Pits. And so, as we operate these both every single day, right? We get deals accepted, multiple deals in a week, 3 or 4 in a week, get a $1.5 million, and whatever it is, that's a peak. On the flip side, what has to happen? We'll have things go sideways. We know that's going to happen this year. And so what I have to make sure I'm doing and preparing my mind and my game for this year is I cannot be stuck on any type of peak or any pit. I don't stay in the peak too long. I don't get in the pit too long. What do you think that means? Patrick, what do you think that means?
You're going to have ebbs and flows. There's ebbs and flows to every business, but if you've been able to build your endurance, kind of build the muscles, like, it's not going to look like that. You're going to have your average line is going to be in a steady increase, and you're going to be able to get out of that pit much faster.
Yes. Here's the game for this year. I don't let myself get too high. I don't let myself get too low. The secret is I got to stay in the middle of the game here and grow. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. Right? I stay in the middle here and grow. What do you think that means? What do you think that means when I say that? What's that? Mastermind, we talked about that a lot, right? In the past.
We're just going to focus on the things that got you to those levels.
What do most do? They get to the peak, they get some deals accepted, make some money. What do they automatically do over and over?
Dip out, man.
Take their foot off the pedal and dip out.
Hide out.
Take the foot and dip out. So I cannot allow myself to get to these peaks where I get to the point of letting my foot off the pedal. Other reasons are, right, have things going on, things go sideways. A pit could be something from a family member. Could be something that goes with me. Right? It could be anything, but I can't allow myself to get in the pit and stay in the pit. So the secret here for us this year is to have this ability to have endurance, to be able to focus on expansion daily, which allows me to live in this place here in the middle. Overall, which is a place of what? Power. And so, I want to make sure that you guys today can make a decision of like, look, I'm not going to allow myself to get too high this year. Get some deals going on the table, get some a lot of money. What happens? Cool, same thing yesterday. Keep fucking moving. I don't allow myself to celebrate wins too long. On the flip side, I'm not going to allow myself to get in the pit when shit goes sideways. What do I say? Cool. Right? Keep fucking going. It's a very, very, very powerful skill that the best in business do. The shit that used to would kill me literally 5 years ago, no big deal anymore. Right? Expenses $300,000 a month sometimes. Okay. No big deal. Right? You have shit going on, all kind of crazy stuff, angry clients, crazy people, whatever it is. Hey, no big deal. You have to get good this year at mastering the middle. And that means what internally?
Mastering you.
Yes. Your inner self. Mastering the middle.
The voice.
Right? The voice, the narratives, the things I tell myself. Right? My commitment here in terms of how I operate this year is not connected to me feeling good. And it's not connected to me feeling bad. If I'm in a race and running a Spartan race, Brandon, right? And I'm starting to feel tired and sick, what happens? What do?
You don't have a choice. Just keep going.
You keep fucking going. Right? Run a marathon, whatever it is, keep fucking going. Anything long-term endurance, I have to have this endurance mindset for this year. This is my entire mindset. I want somebody to write this down and just say, look, this is my mindset for this year. This is the game I'm playing, is endurance mindset. While the masses around me fall off on week 4 and week 5, I continue to push on and continue to get better in terms of who I am, how I operate, and I do that every single day. Had a shitty day yesterday, guess what happens? I go home, may have some drinks or something to reset, get up the next day, and what happens? Brand new fucking day. The slate is blank. And it's my turn to make a decision deliberately that I got to get up daily and make a way to find myself in power. No matter what happens good, no matter what happens bad, I still continue to stay focused on what my discipline is. It's one of the best skill sets. Go back and watch that video this morning. It's pretty powerful. Talk about the same thing. It's all about your ability to focus on the long game and not ever compromise in the middle. It's what happens in diets. It's what happens with doing the work. Well, I don't got to make those dials today. I just closed a big deal. Just got this one under contract. Right? Got this other thing going on. I don't got to make dials today. I don't got to follow back up. And so the ability is no matter what I have going on here in my life, both inside work and outside work, right? I make sure I match in the middle. You're good at solving the problems. I see it all the time. There's a lot of people that live in constant chaos. Through family members, through self-inflicted things, right? Through who they're with. My mom has this really good lady. She talks about her really good friend from when they used to work together 30 years ago. Her name's Nancy. Nancy has this crazy shit going on all the time. Nancy lives in North Carolina, and she's like 65. Nancy's husband left her for a stripper who's a crackhead and smokes meth, right? And all this crazy shit, right? And then all of a sudden, she came down here and almost passed out on the road and got hit by a car. Then she went out of town last weekend, and her cousin came to watch her cat in her condo, and the lady came to watch the cat in the condo. Now, all of a sudden, the lady's, it's an oceanfront condo. The lady lives there now. Her cousin comes over, and this happens to invite a good friend over, who they knew from 20 years ago, which is very weird in my opinion, right? Nancy's out of town to see her daughter in Georgia. So she brings her friend over, who's a guy. Supposedly he's telling the guy bye. Guess what happens?
Cat gets up.
The motherfucker drops dead in the condo. Dies in the condo. They call 911, bring the guy over. They try to resuscitate him, ironically, near the bed. Right? 65-year-old dude dead in her condo. My mom says, I can't really imagine about Nancy. She always has this crazy shit going on. She has the worst luck in the world. And what do you think I said?
She brings it to her.
It's not her fucking luck. It's the people that she associates with and the decisions that she makes. And so I got to ask myself this year, if I have chaos constantly going on, how much of that has to do with my decisions I make and what I allow happen in my life? And what's negotiable and non-negotiable for me and the people I keep as my company? Period. If I'm living in constant chaos, that's my fault. I allow that shit. And there's 3 or 4 or 5 other things that happen to her over the time. And I said, look, a lot of times just the quality of the people that you hang out with and the decisions they make. Right? Just is what it is. And so as you have chaos go on this year, what's going to be my goal here? Match to the middle, match to the middle, match to the middle. Right? And the other thing to look at too is having that mindset. I want to know one thing. This is important, I think, from a high level of success. I must know that everything that goes up must do what? Come down. I get a couple big deals, get 3, 4, 5 in a row, close 5, 6, 7 a month. Okay, I know that what? Everything that goes up must come down. And be okay with that. So when things don't go as good or my pipeline dries up a little bit, I go from 10 pending to 4 pending, I know that, okay, that's okay. Everything goes up, must come down. So I got to make sure I match the middle. On the flip side, when everything's going sideways, I have that week where my deals fall apart, I got inspections going crazy clients, no one's answering the phone. I know that, hey, I'm in the pit this week, but guess what? Everything goes down, must do what? Go back up. And so draw this out as you have this in this year of a framework to think through as all these things go on to you, because it's not necessarily external all the time. It's really how I have it. Here's the crazy part. I must do what? Stay in the middle. There is a compound effect of doing what? Staying committed. Meaning that no matter what happens, no matter what goes sideways, what I do? I said it a minute ago.
Don't give up.
I keep doing what?
Keep going.
Keep going. No matter what, feel sick, right? Doing a race. I did a race against people in here. Did pretty good. Smoked Ryan really bad by like 30, 45 minutes, I think. And I was tired. Felt like throwing up. Guess what I did? Kept fucking moving. Kept walking, kept pushing, kept walking. No matter what, you have to have that mindset that no matter what, I'm not going to stop moving my feet. And that also comes down to the work side. Where I do what?
Do the work.
Keep moving. And one thing I wrote down here in the notes, it says, you will find and feel yourself as a champion this year if you just don't fucking stop. You will find and feel yourself as a champion this year if you just don't fucking stop. Day after day after day. I don't got to come in and hit fucking home runs, right? I just come make my calls, make my dials, keep showing up in that scenario. Do it over and over. So that's how I grow my business in a massive way. I want you guys to have this. I want you to write yourself this question down really quick. Number 1. Where do I need to level up my endurance in my business? Number one, where do I need to level up my endurance in my business? You could also write when. Where and when. Number two, where do I need to level up and expand my skill sets in my business this year? Where do I need to level up and expand my skill sets in my business?